All right, what's up everyone? This is a different one. I'm gonna start doing some things like this. I'm gonna talk about how to fish boat docks, right? I mean, it's not gonna be your normal everyday, here's how to flip them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down an entire creek on what I look for in that creek when I'm fishing boat docks. So I'm on a lake, it's got tons and tons of boat docks, right? The whole lake has them. And what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna try to kind of go through the different boat docks I look for, why I look for them, and break down the entire creek, like where to start, why I'd start somewhere, from the back end to the front end, and everything in the middle. And I want to do that because all these boat docks are so different, and the boat docks visually, when you look at them, are different. What's underneath them in the water is different. How it's set up on your map, the channels, the ditches, all the little things that go on along with that, and more importantly, sometimes the time of the year. And so, and I don't fish boat docks all year round. You can, but I'm gonna try to focus on, you know, a couple of times where I think it's the best times to fish them, and then where I go in those creeks to find them. So I'm gonna do a lot of map stuff. Mainly it's gonna be a map thing. I'll try to drive around some of these boat docks as well and talk about them, and sometimes even graphing around some of them. So let's get started, man. Let's look at it. Let's just do it like this. I'm just gonna take a picture of me side imaging a dock. Okay, this is the best way I can do it. So what you're looking at is one side, the left-hand side of my side imaging. And I zoomed in a lot to show you everything, but you'll be able to see it all. On the very far left-hand side, you'll see a white line, of the brightest white line on there, traveling about 3/4 of the way down, all the way up to the top. That's the bulkhead, okay? So that's the metal bulkhead when I started driving by it. Now granted, I wasn't driving by a bunch of docks, so I kind of pulled up to this and turned on it. At the very bottom of the screen, those are tires. You can see a couple of them out in front and a couple of them right next to the bulkhead, okay? Those are real clear to see. They are very close to the bulkhead, okay? How you know it's a dock, in case any of y'all are this, I'm gonna break it down whether you know this or not. All these white lines, these white dots, okay? So there's, 4 or 5 of them in the front, and they go from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, and you'll see black shadows coming from them. Every one of those bright white dots is a wooden post of that dock. And those black lines, if you're not familiar with that, are shadows, okay? So that's what side imaging does. It picks up a hard object and then it creates a shadow behind it. That's why you see the black and everything. It has the black of the tires that shows you the shadows. It has the black of the pilings, okay? That's shadows as well. Every time you see a white dot or a black shadow anywhere, that's representing something. You just have to eventually figure out what it is it's representing, okay? Tires are very easy to see, and the pilings are very easy to see, but they're easy to see because you can see them outside the water, so you know what you're looking at. Tires are obviously under the water, but they create such a good picture on side imaging. Tires are one of the easiest things to pick up. Now, above all those pilings on the top left-hand corner, you'll see something that's different out there, right? What that is, that's concrete slabs, okay? There's basically 2 of them. You'll see one, you can see that there's 2 of them, and then right further up in the corner to the left of those 2 things, you'll see the black shadow. That's the shadow of those 2 concrete slabs. So that is what you're looking at. I prefer concrete and rock and things of that nature over tires. Bass seem to relate better to concrete and rock, anything like that, better than almost anything in my opinion. They really like concrete and rock and stuff. I think they like it better than even brush or anything. So when I see that, I get excited. Now, what I'm going to show you afterwards is this is one dock and there's about 30 docks around it. And I'm going to show you what all the other docks look like. But this dock is so unique and it has all these things around it. It's always been the best dock, okay? And it has a lot of things going on with it. And as you can tell, even in that dock, on the bottom left, you see where those tires are. It's hard for the side imaging to pick up all that stuff because there's a bunch of stuff going on. But from there all the way to that concrete slab, there's concrete running all down that bulkhead. You can see that it looks a little bit different than everything else. And it has just a bunch of junk in there. And I'm gonna show you why I say it has a bunch of junk in there. It's really cluttered right now, the screen is. Even on the outside, there's just stuff everywhere, okay? It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's hard to read it all, but there's a lot of trash around this boat dock. So from here, I'm going to show you a picture of another boat dock, and this is what every single boat dock looks around there. So let me get that going. Okay guys, here's what all the other docks look like down this entire bulkhead, an entire row of docks. Plain and simple. I mean, you can see these docks, there's nothing around them. They got the pilings. I mean, and this one, I got really good at this one in a really clear picture. But this is what all it looks like. You can look at the ground, the dirt all around the steel. There's nothing around there. It's all just sand, dirt, silt, whatever you want to call it. It's just bottom. And there's nothing special about these docks. They're just wooden pilings and docks. And guys, this is the difference. You know, this is what happens when you start putting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of docks all over this lake. They're not all equal and they're not all good. So the side imaging lets you go travel around them and find what's around them. So like I said, as you can see, you know, this is a lot of what the docks look like. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that this dock won't hold fish. But if you don't have a lot of time and you're new to a lake and you're trying to find docks that are unique and different, I mean, guys, I can't tell you, this is about as boring of a dock as you could ask for. But this is what they all look like. So if I'm looking for docks, that other dock is going to stand out like crazy to me. So these are the differences between docks, and I just wanted to show you what the other ones look like. So let's move forward from here. All right, this last dock it's not a very big dock. Once again, you can see the pilings and everything, but what I want you to focus on is in the bottom left-hand corner. Do you start seeing that darker area? It kind of looks rough. All around there's sand and dirt, but that starts becoming more of a hard bottom, and it's everything in that bottom left-hand corner of the screen. What you're seeing in the very bottom left-hand corner of that screen is the ground getting harder, and it's more of a clay, harder bottom. These are things you want to look for. This is a dock that has this on one side of it, and it leads into that dock. It's small, it's simple, but like I said, when you got 20, 30, 40 docks in a row that are all the same, something as simple as that will hold. That will be probably the best dock of all that group of docks. So even something as subtle as that, always look for things like that as well. All right, as you can see, not all docks are the same. If you look, this is what the normal ground looks like. It's boring, it's sand, it's dirt, it's silt. There's not a lot going on. So when you have some of those docks, and let me tell you something, that's the only dock around there that has that. So a lot of times it's what's underneath the dock. And those, there's like 25, 30 docks down this road and that's the only dock that has that. So that dock's always gonna produce way more bass than all the rest of the docks around here. And so a lot of times that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a dock that stands out, but you can't just see that dock and know that that's there. You got to either graph it or fish it. And a lot of times you can just graph them and find those docks. And you can just kind of put your side imaging down and go down a row of docks, and either you'll find stuff like that or you'll find brush. I personally like docks like that because it's very hard to see that. You know, brush is easy to feel. Sometimes docks like that have concrete or rock or something on them, and they're the only ones, those are by far the best docks. You just gotta have to find them, and they're the hardest ones to find because they're unique, they're different, but there's a lot more of them than you realize, especially on certain lakes. If you can find them on certain lakes, all of them around there will have that, you know, or there'll be a lot of places like that that have them. So that's one of the key features I look for. Let's go head back and look at some of these docks. Some of these docks more on the main lake tend to have more of this, what I kind of call weird junk trash around them. So as you can see here, even on this was a dock, we even got tires out here, but you can see the docks that we're coming up on one now. So every one of those are the pilings, okay? These are little stumps and all the things in between docks and stuff, and that's what's pretty cool. But you can see that dock right there, how there's almost nothing in that dock, okay? So that one's pretty clear. That's not that great of a dock sometimes. You can fish it, but here, see, we hadn't even gotten to the dock yet, okay? This is all just concrete and rock, another little slab deal right before the dock. That's what's pretty cool. So now you can see the dock. It's pretty empty around the dock as well, but that concrete and weird little, it's just trash and all kinds of things. That dock sometimes can be good because they tend to get on that and the dock. So they might get on that in the morning time, okay? They might get on that in the morning time and then get on the dock when it gets sunnier. So those are the kind of things I look for, because man, that's just like a bonus, right? That's a bonus of things that are around the dock instead of just straight dirt and everything. So a place like that, you can fish it, and you can sit on one side and fish the dock and then fish the other side. So I mean, it's kind of cool how you can fish both things like that. All right, so main lake docks are really different, and you can always find a lot of different things on them. And this is one of those deals. This is one of those deals that, guys, I really honestly didn't know was here until side imaging came around. So I'm gonna show you why a dock can be so much better. But as you can see, here's this bulkhead coming out, okay? And I'm running next to the side of the dock, okay? Now I'm gonna show you this. It's very subtle, right? There's nothing special about that dock, okay? Except there is. Okay, so let's go over this real quick. This is the bulkhead, and it made a turn, and I just came out down the side of the bulkhead, okay? I'm gonna stop it real quick. So as I came out the side, this is the front of the dock, okay? So normally guys would come in and start fishing right here, but on the side of this dock right here, that is a concrete slab that runs between two pilings of that dock, and that's it. This piling and this piling, a couple feet in, okay? I used to always get bit on this dock right there, and I never knew why. It's almost impossible to feel. It only comes up about 6 inches, and I just never really knew why it was there, or why I got bit there. But that little spot is probably one of the best spots on the lake and best boat docks, and that's all it is. There are things like that around here that aren't very big, that are hard to find, and to be honest with you, I found it fishing. But when I got my side imaging, I kind of started messing around these boat docks and started looking for things like that.